All right, all right, all right. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's Russ from Rusty Tracks Railroad. Well, I hope Santa Claus was good to everyone. We're just getting situated here. Just moving some of the trains out of the way for today's switching section, our session. Hey, Club Bar. Stop you. Hey. There we go. Well, we got a very short switching session to do today. The computer didn't generate a whole heck of a lot for me. Yeah, we got about 5 or 6 moves to do on my little switching sheet here. Since you're new to the channel, Cub, this is a small T-track switching setup that I've made. I used to have a very large setup back probably 35, 40 years ago in my old home, and got out of N scale when I moved. And about 2.5 years ago, maybe, I decided I'd get back into it. I thought I'd build a small switching module. Did that and tore that one apart and built a T-track setup. And I thought that would be the way to go because if I ever needed to tear it down for whatever reason, I'd just be able to unclip all the modules and go from there. But yeah, so was Santa Claus good to you? I hope he was. Sorry, got to wet my whistle there. We're going to get my little switcher up and running here, and we'll get this switching session started. So our first move is going to be, we've got to get a covered hopper. Actually, we've got 2 covered hoppers we've got to move. One's going from our east engine shed, or engine facility, which is way over on our east end. We're going to be moving him to the cold storage facility. But we also have a covered hopper up there in the cold storage facility. And he's got to go to the eastbound. So we basically have to switch these 2 covered hoppers around. Oh, thank you for that, Cub. Yeah, I'm sitting here alone. My other half is over in the UK for this Christmas. She's visiting with her dad, where she is right now. And went up and she's visited with her son and daughter up in their towns with their grandkids. So she's been playing granny time, so she's very happy about that. And she comes back on Monday, so I've got to go to Toronto International Airport or Pearson and pick her up at the airport. I'm hoping and praying that the weather will cooperate. Touch on wood, so far the weather's been great. You'll have to excuse my fingers every now and then just to make sure that these guys get hooked up properly on my little layout here. So what we'll do is we're going to move this guy. And let me think about it, my moves here. We'll go there. All right, let's get this party started. So we're going to take this covered hopper that's sitting at our cold storage facility. We're going to move him. So I remember what I'm doing. We're going to move him from the cold storage facility, and we're going to get him down into that east end of the layout where the other covered hopper is. Yeah, I don't, one thing I don't do here is, yes, these are T-track modules, but I don't take them to any shows. I don't know of any of the clubs locally or within my distance anyway, that are T-track clubs. And that's fine by me. I just opted to have T-track out of convenience more than anything else. I do belong to a local model railroad club, and they have HO and N scale, very large layouts there. So it's nice to be able to get out and do some movement of trains with my larger locomotives, my mainline locomotives, and not just do switching. You can see on the east end there the Blue Devil sitting there. That was a new addition 2 days ago, actually. I lucked out and managed to get one of the new Atlas Blue Devils. Seem to be very hard to get a hold of right now. Runs well. I had it running yesterday on my break-in rollers for about an hour in each direction at half speed and full speed in each direction. And I've had it on the layout here, and it's been running well. Come with me doing this. I can't talk and think at the same time. So whereabouts are you from, Cub? Hopefully the weather's not too bad where you are. Oh, so you're not far from me then. That's cool. You got Otter Valley not far from you, which is nice. Makes it convenient. Been out to their shop a number of times. Are you HO or N scale? It's been rather a quiet Christmas for me here, which, that's fine. I don't mind it. Last year, the other half stayed here in Canada rather than going over to the UK. And it was rather nice having her spend Christmas here, which, you know, is always handy to have for sure. Later on this afternoon, I'm supposed to be going over to the neighbors. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to get this covered hopper back over to the cold storage facility out of the East Engine shop. I'm not sure what they were doing with it over there, but that's where the computer generated the list for. So I use a spreadsheet that has a formula in it, and it knows all the cars, because I put them all in there, and it knows what the capabilities are of the cars, whether they're for example, a grain. They know a grain car can go to the silos, it can go to the co-op, it can go to the welding shop, it could go to the maintenance facilities. And basically what it does is I randomly myself grab anywhere from 6 to 8 or maybe more cars, and then what I do is I put them into the spreadsheet, and it automatically randomizes everything for me. as to its start location for the car and its destination. So the start of my switching session is I take the cars that I've got listed and where their start points are and place them in their start points and then run the switching session. Now the switching sessions, I've noticed that it's nice that it does that for me, because every session that I run is different. In fact, if I make a single change on the spreadsheet to add a car or take a car off and replace it with something else, it will at that point re-randomize the entire list for me. So constantly my switch list is always changing. So it's good. It keeps me hopping, gives me something to do, and I like to keep myself occupied with keeping busy. And I retired a couple of years ago, and I was in the IT line of things, designing hardware for vehicles, and the problem with getting retired is keeping yourself busy. So I thought, again, that's why I decided I'd resurrect this as a hobby. So this is my wintertime hobby, is doing N scale switching. And during the summertime, I keep myself occupied with another hobby, which is 1812 reenacting. So I'm all over southern Ontario doing that, down at Fort George and Fort Erie and out London way at Fanshawe. And then as we get closer to the fall, there's a bunch of us 1812 people that end up going up to Orillia, and they have a Pirate Fest up there the last long weekend there in the summertime. And we take over the town and kidnap the mayor and make them walk the plank into the harbor. And it's a great moneymaker for the community up there, for the Chamber of Commerce, because that's who puts it all on. But yeah, it's great fun. All right, two's out of the way. It's always a good start. So both those covered hoppers are taken care of. Now we've got to take, we got a box car we got to move from the central maintenance facility, and we got to get him up to the cold storage facility. So that's a fairly easy move to do, I hope. Did you have company over for Christmas, or are they coming over today, or are you keeping yourself busy with trains today? We're going to have to do a little running around with this box cart because we've got to get it on the back side, but we're going to be pulling it out on the front side. So we'll take it down to our inside track here, use the double cross hose to get the engine switched around. Ah, cool. Nice. Well, don't feel you've got to be stuck here watching me. If at some point you need to go, please feel free to do that. I put this schedule up for this live broadcast only because I was going to be home alone. I thought, yeah, perfect time to do some troubleshooting and make sure everything's up to snuff and working the way it should be. I checked all the tracks this morning. Everything seemed to be good and clean, and none of the locomotives were acting up, so I'm quite happy about that. It's the only problem I feel that the problem is in wintertime. I don't know about where you live, but our basement, I'm in the basement here, which is where we spend most of our time. But wintertime tends to be so damp, and I seem to see the tracks end up getting a little more messy than I like. Come on, hook up. There we go. Find when I'm doing switching, I like using this little Y throttle setup. Makes life a little easier, a little more realistic as well, the way the software is set up within it. It allows me to think more ahead of time about getting the locomotive slowed down to where it needs to be. But normally what I run the system on is a tablet, because I can run 2 locomotives at a time using that. So we'll get this boxcar set up here on the inside track. We'll do a little run around with the switcher after that. Ah, cool. Nice. I'm running DCCEX, the open source DCC system. Nice little system. There's not much to do. I mean, when you order their newest one, the CSB1, it comes pre-configured in what's called access point mode. So it's acting as an access point, and you can take any device, basically, so an Android tablet or an iPhone, and look for it on the network as its name, and hook up directly using the engine driver application as your throttle. I looked at, I mean, heck, 35, 40 years ago, there was no DCC4 N scale, because that's where I started even back then, and never mind sound. And it always seemed like a dream. And then getting back into this now, I looked at the prices of the commercial systems that are out there, and I thought, it's rather pricey. I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money up front, and then find that perhaps I'm not going to get the enjoyment out of N-scale anymore. But I'll be honest, I'm glad I've come back into the hobby. It definitely is, has been an eye-opener for sure since getting back into it. And I think I paid for the CSB1. It's all self-contained. One of my other videos, I think I showed it. And sorry about that. And it's a board maybe 2.5, 3 inches in size by maybe 2 inches. Single layer, like a single level board. It's got Wi-Fi. The motor controller built into it, which takes up to 5 amps or can handle up to 5 amps on it. And the computer itself. And you plug it in and it's good to go. It's crazy, absolutely insane the way they've managed to make this thing. And it just works, which is a really nice part about, oh, what am I doing here? There I go, talking and not thinking about what I should be doing. Make a very bad engineer. Just goes to prove you can't do two things at once. Well, I can't anyway. Many people will argue that they can. But it's very tough to split your concentration. Alright, let's bring this guy back now. And do what we were supposed to do, which was grab this boxcar. Well, not being a techie guy is fine. But as I say, with the DCC-EX system, there's really nothing that you needed to do with it. Yes, there's one portion if you want to create a roster that you need to create a text file and add your locomotives and all the functions in there. But that's not really a big deal. It is just a text file, which is what's nice about it. And once you've done it, come on, you. Okay. Once you've done it once, you know exactly what you need to do with it. And if you were to add a locomotive to your roster, then you just need to edit that file and re-upload it to the system. And it takes all of 2 or 3 minutes. It's almost an all automated process for uploading any changes to the software. It's not like it was 2.5 years ago when the system first came out, where it was literally all build it yourself. You had an Arduino board, you had a Wi-Fi board, and you had a motor driver board, and you had to mount them all together. You had to bend certain pins out of the way. You have to load up the software through the Arduino IDE software, which is a bit of a pain, and I appreciate, being a non-techie, that it can be very, very intimidating about doing something like that. I mean, even me as a technical guy found it difficult at times just to follow the instructions the way they were. That's my other half trying to get a hold of me. I'm just going to tell her that I'm tied up on a live broadcast, which she knew about. Tell her I'm busy and back shortly. I knew this would happen. I just knew it. I even told her last night, I said, listen, I've got a live broadcast happening tomorrow. But typical. Never listens to me. So I've been keeping myself occupied. You can probably see my little corks here from bottles holding my people. I've been 3D printing them this week, and man, I'll tell you, M-scale people make your eyes sore when you're painting them. But I don't want to make them all the same either, so I try and vary the colors of their shirts and their pants. And this crew here's got mostly yellow helmets, but I've got a guy over here with a white helmet and one guy with a silver helmet. I've got some remote engineers there with the wireless controls. So that's just a few of the guys that I've done up. You can never have enough people. I could say the same thing about vehicles, but it's people and vehicles that actually make the railroad come alive, whether it's a lumber yard or whether it's a cement factory or whatever it may be. It's nice to have vehicles and people added to your layout. All right, so that one's out of the way as well. Woohoo! Move 3. Okay, we got a grain car away on the outbound tracks we got to bring up to the welding shop. And so I'm going to be out of camera view at one point here. It's not going to be very, very long. The west end of the layout, you see some unfinished board where that Dash 840 is sitting. And that's really, for me, all that is a staging yard where I can put my cars. Gives me somewhere to put the cars when it's an in-out move that I've got to do. And yeah, so what I'll end up doing is having to grab what am I after down there? Oh, a grain car from down there and bring it up to the welding shop, which is in the central area. Then there's really only one more move that we have to do. So we can actually bring both of those, both of those cars up from the staging area. I better find out where they are in the chain up here. Just get my little switcher down there in the meantime. So lots of things you can do technology-wise and with your layout. And yes, you say you're not a techie guy, but there's plenty of help to be had out there. And again, the nice thing with the internet is there are so many people out there that are willing to help you out as far as answering questions are concerned. You're living in a good area because you've got the Otter Valley not far from you, and you can always ask questions, at least railroad related, probably not so much technology related, but you're on here, and you're on a number of the other YouTube channels, obviously. And definitely, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the only way you're going to learn. We all have to start somewhere. So I'm just going to go out of camera view here. I got to make my move here to get these cars, get them sorted anyway as far as what I need. I'll be right back. Hold that thought. Entertain yourself. Well, you'll still won't hear me. So we're fortunate. The very first one is right where we need it. So we need that grain car, and we need a box car, which is, conveniently is sitting right behind it. We'll just hook both of them up and pull them back. So here we come. We're coming back into camera view again. Yeah, I'm not, while I say I'm a tech guy or an IT guy, what I'm not is I'm not a programmer. I haven't got a clue how to program any of this stuff from the ground up anyway. I can usually fudge my way through troubleshooting, but again, I can cause more damage than good most times. But again, if you don't try, you don't learn. And yes, I've admitted defeat a number of times myself, where I've had to actually ask for help. But it's a great hobby, to be honest with you. The advances that have happened over my time being in, learned really good over there. The stuff I've learned and the changes that have happened over my 40 years of being in the hobby. I mean, the hobby's been going obviously longer than that, but it just amazes me to be able to have everything wireless now, using Digitrax or any DCC system is just phenomenal. It's hard to believe that you can do this with the technology that we have available to us now. All right, so our grain car's got to go to the welding shop. Of course, he's going to be in the wrong spot, isn't he? So we got to change these guys around. Yeah, as I said, getting into the hobby back when I did, um, even back then, DCC was in its infancy, but it's grown by leaps and bounds. So the east end of the layout here, where the switchers move to right now, just to the right of that is a wall, so I can't go much farther. I go about another 4 inches before I hit the wall, literally. Actually, the people up at Otter Valley are fantastic. I placed, in general, I placed some online orders and the stuff shipped with zero problem. In fact, one item that I ordered, they couldn't find it in the store, and they gave me a phone call like immediately after I placed the order, and they couldn't find, as I say, they couldn't find that item, and offered me a replacement, or did you want to delete it from the order? And I said, no, just replace it with whatever. I said, it's just a modern vehicle, and that's what I need on the layout. I said, the problem with N scale, well, railroading in general, if you're doing anything modern, is finding modern vehicles. And that's the one nice thing, at least. The 3D printing has come into its own for that stuff, where you can find a lot of times free files that you can download and then print out vehicles. Oh, it took off. Yeah, no worries. Trust me, I can easily entertain myself. Done it many times in the past. But that wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to stay attached. Again, the bane of N scale is a lot of times either coupling or uncoupling with these small little couplers, but it's a minor inconvenience, to be honest. I'm going to be cutting the trip pins on most of my stuff as well, because again, well, I don't have automatic or magnetic decouplers, so they're really not needed. And sometimes they get caught on the switches as you cross them. Especially in our club layout. because it's all flex track and they've got it all nailed down, and sometimes the nails sneak back up. So as I was saying, I know you're not back probably, but as I was saying, this covered hopper's got to go up as well to the cold storage facility where we spotted those other 2 cars earlier. So we'll get that that one in there. Ooh, I lied. It doesn't go there. Oh. See, there I am thinking in the wrong order again. Right idea, wrong place. I really need to switch these 2 cars around, because the green's got to go to the welding shop and the box car's got to go to the cold storage. So let's sort that out. I'm going to blame the time of the year. It's cold. My brain's not working. Let me think about the easiest way to do this now. So, he's got to go up there and he's got to go over there. So, we got to literally get these 2 cars the opposite way to what they are now. So let's try this. Okay, this is one nice thing about a switching layout, is it makes you think about what you have to do. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with trains just running around and around and around in circles. I like that, and a lot of guys do that with their YouTube channels and just have trains running. I've got the room for it, but the other half, she wouldn't be happy if I put a full-blown layout down here. I'd love to have one, but that's just not going to happen. So for me, it's nice to have the switching layout, and it gives my railroad a purpose for existing. So how we're going to deal with this little switch around is we're going to drop this guy on the main line. And then we're going to hit the double crossover. Here we'll pick up the box car and we'll head east through the east double crossover. Yeah, you hit that. Good car. We had contact this time, which is good. Get our green signal for the crossover. Get our crossover switch back to straight through. And we're going to have to push the two cars that are sitting at the cold storage back a little bit. Not a big deal. Just give them a little shove. Clear the road crossing there. That'll do. And I'm going to actually move back just a little bit here. Sheet, the hand of God will help out. Which is not what we wanted to do there, but that's fine. We'll get her sorted. Come on. There we go. And we're heading to the welding shop. And since this is going into the welding shop, we'll get the welding facility going here. So Cub, I'm not sure if you're back or not, but I'll hang in here for a bit and just see. But that's going to be our last move that we've got to make. I know you said you're heading for supper to your sister's at some point here. Not sure what time that will be. But I appreciate the fact that you came online and came to my little live switching session today. I really do appreciate that. That's awesome of you. And I hope you get the dog back, that is. Never good. I've had a dog get away on me as well several years ago. And chased it all over the place. I know you shouldn't chase a dog because it just thinks it's a game, but I mean, panic on our part sets in, and we want to obviously be able to catch those dogs and bring them back safe and sound, because you don't want them to get hit by vehicles or, you know, just take off in general, because they don't know any better. So I'm just gonna park this little switcher in the maintenance yard here. Well, thanks for the sub, Cub. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and do a broadcast every Sunday at about 1:30 if I can. Maybe not this Sunday, but my schedule will hopefully be that. Trying to find a time when some of the other locals in Ontario, well, in general in Canada here, aren't doing their live streams in early afternoon on a Sunday. I think it's going to be a decent time to do that. And it'll probably end up being the same type of thing again, where it's just going to be a switching session. Depending on who shows up, we can have just a conversation back and forth on the hobby in general and how things are shaping up. And I hope that Santa was really good to you this year. And stay safe. Hopefully you don't have too far to travel to your sister's place. And look forward to seeing you again on my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for attending today. Have a safe and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Cheers, man. Take care.